Hi, I'm Felicia. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is Thursday, February 12th, and I'm feeling just a little bit under the weather today, both physically and emotionally. If you've been watching my last couple of videos, then you would know that I received some pretty devastating news about my baby that I'm pregnant with right now. He has hydrops, which is a very serious condition, which is causing fluid to accumulate in his body. He has fluid in both of his lungs and as well as skin edema. And tomorrow morning, I go back to the maternal fetal medicine doctor for monitoring. We're going to hook me up to some monitors and see how the baby's heart is doing. I think it may be decelerating. I think he is experiencing heart failure, and that is what has caused the hydrops. Although he also has trisomy 21, which is a genetic abnormality. He has Down syndrome, and so basically that is also a contributing factor. It could be one or the other or both. And so we're going to figure out some more information tomorrow, and I will let you know, of course, what's going on there. But my daughter, my little 3-year-old, isn't feeling so good today. Sadly, my 3-year-old daughter is sick right now with a cold. I think she either got it Sunday from the Bible group class or either when I went to the motherhood meeting and they had childcare there. Maybe she got it from one of the kiddos there. It was a bigger group. Also, she played on a playscape, like a big play structure, and I know those are infamously difficult to disinfect. So I'm starting to feel it just a little bit myself. I'm just a little kind of groggy in my throat. I thought maybe it was just allergies, but I think I may have a touch of the cold that she got, but I am doing my very best to rest today and take care of myself because I have to go tomorrow to my appointment. She can't come if she's sick, which means Dad can't come and see the baby. If the hydrops worsens, I'll feel pretty bad if he doesn't get to see him again on sonogram. There is somebody at our church who is a NICU nurse, and she's going to call me actually tonight and just chat a little bit about everything that's going on. And I know my hair looks a little crazy today. I washed it last night and I didn't get to put enough conditioner in it. And yeah, it's just a big curly frizzy mess today. But at least I did my makeup. That helps me feel a little bit more put together. I was struggling to even do that. I'm feeling pretty nervous about how tomorrow's going to go. I have this feeling, this intuition telling me that his condition is probably worsening. And that's not me trying to be pessimistic or, catastrophizing the situation. I just logically believe from the research I've done and my intuition is telling me this is probably the result. And I've had a bad feeling all along that things weren't going to go right. And I think that is all coming to fruition now. I do feel a little guilty for all of the times that I've complained about being pregnant, whether it be pain, ligament pain, or feeling tired. I had terrible morning sickness in the beginning too, and so this hasn't been an easy pregnancy for me by any means, but I do feel bad for complaining about it because this may potentially be the only experience or memories I'll get to have had with my baby, and I want to try to think about the joyous moments, like how excited I was when I found out I was pregnant and thinking ahead about the future. I've, really pictured how my life is going to be with this beautiful baby with special needs, and I was scared at times, but also ready for it. And so for this to potentially be the outcome, not having a baby, it's just not what I pictured. I was fully ready to spend the rest of my life caring for this little guy through his life. You know, I thought I was going to be an old woman with a son that still lived at home with me that I was taking care of, and I don't know if that's going to be the case anymore. I think there's a very good chance that he's either not going to be born at all or that he won't survive very long after he's born. And it's very, very sad, and I just have to reimagine how that's going to look. And yeah, so I'm already grieving, and I know I shouldn't be because he's still alive. I can feel him kicking. But I feel like I'm preparing myself emotionally for that. I find myself thinking about things that really no mother should have to think about or plan for. You know, am I going to have a funeral service? Am I going to scatter his ashes? Am I going to bury him? What am I going to do? It's a lot to think about and process, and I know that when the time comes, there will be counselors and social workers at the hospital who can help us navigate that, but I'm someone who likes to plan and be prepared, so I'm already thinking ahead about that scenario. Thinking about how my next pregnancy is going to go. I still want to have another baby. I never really pictured having an only child. I want to give my daughter siblings. I want to have a bigger family. And so I'm trying to imagine how that's going to be. The odds that that pregnancy doesn't go well either has to be so incredibly low, but the chances that my babies have experienced what they've experienced is also so rare that I'm prepared for anything at this point. My daughter had a very rare heart defect that only affects 1 in 50,000 people. She has autism. And then this baby had trisomy 21 and every soft marker that comes along with that, and a heart defect, and now hydrops. And it's truly going to be a miracle if he survives. And I just wonder how it's going to be again. You know, if I do this a third time, is it going to be like the saying, third time's the charm? Am I going to have a healthy baby? Am I capable of having a healthy baby? And those are the thoughts that go through my head, and there's no reason I shouldn't have a healthy baby. I did genetic testing. I don't have any conditions that would contribute to anything that I could pass along other than factor V lead-in. I have a blood clotting thing, but other than that, there's nothing that should go wrong. I just want nothing more than to have a healthy baby. And even for that, I feel guilty because I'm blessed to have my daughter, and she wasn't healthy when she was born. And then my son, I have been excited to have him, and I look at him as a blessing. It feels like a very selfish want to have healthy children. Saying that sounds absurd. I mean, everyone wants healthy children. That's what everyone wishes for other people. When you find out they're pregnant, you say, I wish you a healthy pregnancy. Like, people ask, do you want a boy or a girl? And you say, it doesn't matter as long as they're healthy. But what if they're not healthy? I mean, it's so weird. I'm just processing a lot of thoughts and emotions right now that aren't necessarily the happiest ones to be thinking about or sharing, but like I said yesterday, I feel like it's good for me to say these things out loud and to share what I'm feeling, because I'm sure I'm not alone in this. I'm sure there's lots of people in my situation too who have had these thoughts, and so I think it's good to not keep it all to myself. So, other than not feeling great emotionally or physically today, and caring for my little snotty baby girl who has a cold, yeah, today's been interesting. I have had multiple solicitors come to my front door today, and it's incredibly off-putting. I actually have a sign that I'm going to put on my Ring camera that says no soliciting because it's getting a little ridiculous. I had one yesterday and I've had two today. I could probably up the security game a little bit. I do have a nice big yard for a dog. I'd like to get a security dog. I was holding off on getting pets because I wanted to see how my son's health was going to be. With Down syndrome, there can be breathing problems, and I wanted to make sure before we got any pets that that was going to be manageable. We've also been talking about putting an air filtration system in our house. It's pretty expensive, but we have somebody coming out next week to look at our HVAC and we'll get a quote on how much that's going to cost because yeah, it's very dusty here in Texas. It's a lot drier than I'm used to in Oregon, and so having some help reducing our allergies would be pretty good. Well, I should probably get back to caring for my little one. I can see she's got a snotty nose right there. I gotta wipe that. One good thing that's come of this cold is she's finally learned how to blow her nose. And now she's doing it for fun, blowing snot bubbles, but she's always had a hard time with actually blowing her nose into a tissue, and she's finally figured it out. So that's a plus. Anyway, I am gonna go. Thank you for watching my YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and I'll be back tomorrow to make a video about how the fetal monitoring goes. I hope it's not going to be a super sad video, but we shall see. Anyway, have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.